Okay, I've got to give... Yeah, it just takes a little longer. Okay. I think we're good. Welcome, everyone, to the MudRoom, our weekly free and live uncommon sense parenting class. How is everyone this evening? I want to know how the weather is where you live in the comments because, y'all, knock on wood, I think we have finally turned the corner here. It is spring. So I hope you all had a fantastic Easter weekend if you celebrate. If not, I hope you just had a great long weekend. I am so excited that it is warm, y'all. Next weekend, I am going to tempt fate and pack away all the winter gear because my kids were outside in short sleeves, which means we gotta be done, right? I am so done with winter. All right, so before we get going, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Allana Robinson, and I'm a parenting effectiveness coach. I work with parents of toddlers and preschoolers, helping them understand why their children are misbehaving and how to fix it without yelling, shaming, or using timeouts. So I am your host here on the MudRoom. I also host my free peer support Facebook group, The Parenting Posse. And last but absolutely not least, I host my membership program, the Brain Skills Play Blueprint, where I give premium, personalized support to parents. So if you're watching, say hello, let me know you're here. We are live on Facebook in both the Parenting Posse and the Uncommon Sense Parenting page on YouTube and on Periscope, and I can see all of those comments from all of those places right here on my screen. So let me know you're here so that I can shout you out. All right, let's get into it. Tonight, I want to talk about a study that was recently published in the Journal of the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry. There we go. On the efficacy of parent-based treatment in treating children with anxiety. So after we're done here, I will pop the link to that study in the comments. But for those who aren't really into reading scholarly articles for fun, unlike me, the basic premise of the study was that they had a sample group and they separated that sample group into two groups at random. One group, the children who had been diagnosed with anxiety were treated with a standard group therapy model. And on the other group, the children were given absolutely no therapy, but the parents were given guidance using a protocol they developed called SPACE. And it found that the parent-based treatment was just as effective as the child-based treatment, and for children who didn't respond to the child-based treatment, it was more effective. So this was pretty validating for me. I mean, I have known this on a personal, anecdotal level for a very long time, but it's nice to have science confirm what I've just personally observed. This is why I moved away from working one-to-one with kids and into parent coaching. For those of you who don't know my background and my story, I did early intervention in a variety of forms for about a decade. But the format that I found worked best was when it was part of my mandate to involve the parents, to be coaching the parents to support their own child, because then the intervention wasn't limited to the hours that I was physically present. It put the parents in the driver's seat. The parents wanted to be the experts on their own kids. There is absolutely no worse feeling than not knowing what's going on with your kids. I had a mom, she was the mom of one of my early intervention clients back in the day. And she said to me once, "I'm only ever as okay as my least okay child." And I thought that was pretty profound at the time, but I was in my early 20s and I didn't have any kids of my own. Now as a mom, heck yeah, truth. I mean, the nurture versus nature debate is over. We have figured it out. It's both. You know, how we nurture a child has a huge impact on how their nature gets expressed. There's a whole field of science that's blossomed around that very subject. It's called epigenetics. the science of how lived experience alters gene expression. And that's not to blame parents. Like, we all do the best we can with what we know at the time. Many parents, when I start getting into epigenetics and the parent is the expert, they get kind of really harsh with themselves and they start kind of beating themselves up because they infer from that whatever difficulties their child is experiencing is somehow their fault. And it's not. That's not what this is about. Nature still has a lot of weight here. I see it as an incredible source of hope, right? Tweaking how you're interacting with your child has a serious impact. If the only thing that changes in your child's life is how you guide them, your skills, then that has just proven to be massively game-changing, which leads to the other reason that I moved into parent coaching, because I knew it worked, I know it works, and I know it makes a serious impact. On a one-woman scale, if I want to make a difference and empower as many parents as possible, I can do that a lot more effectively by coaching the parents rather than working one-on-one with the kids. I have like 200 plus parents in BSPB. I can't work with 200 kids in a week. That is absolutely impossible. A heavy caseload when I was in early intervention was 5 kids a week. That was a lot. And that was working morning, afternoon, and evening every single weekday. Hey y'all, if you're here, say hello. Let's chat. So, by empowering parents, by helping you become the expert on your own child, I can actually work with 200 kids, more than 200 kids. Most of the families that I work with have more than one child. So this is incredibly hopeful, not just for me, and not just for the space protocol that the study was done on, but for many modalities and many interventions, because now it's been validated. Changing your parenting does change your child from the inside out. So I am super excited about this. Hey, Nandri! Hey, girl, I haven't seen you in a while. Nandri and I went to school together. Great to see you, girl. So yeah, I am super excited about this because so often I get asked how it's possible that you can just change how you are playing with, speaking to, or engaging with your children, that those small changes will improve their behavior. And I've been told more than once that that is a big claim to make. And again, this isn't a shaming thing on parents. We expect child rearing to be very intuitive and to come very naturally on so many levels. And me too. Like, I had again, if you don't know my backstory, I had a really rough introduction to motherhood. And at that point, I had 2 degrees related to child development. So, it's becoming a parent is rough. And we just generally spend very little time actually learning how we as humans work. And in fact, a lot of parents feel real shame when they start working with me because they feel like they're admitting that this isn't coming naturally to them. And, on the whole, in Western society, admitting that you need support is historically kind of shameful. We need to get over that. We need to stop that on a societal level. We're extremely complicated organisms. And as I said, we're usually only as okay as our least okay child. So I 100% understand the friction and the shame that this kind of information can cause. I caused this, is something that I'm doing wrong. If I was just a better mother, then it wouldn't be like this. No. Pump the brakes. Don't even go there, because that's not true. The biggest gains that my clients have made have been the tiniest of tweaks to what they're already doing. And it takes so much courage to sit with yourself and say, something about what I'm doing clearly isn't working, and I need another set of eyes to figure out what exactly that is. Because so often we are too damn close to it. You're emotionally invested. This is your baby, and you're trying your absolute hardest. But so often good intentions coupled with big emotions lead to some not so adaptive strategies. And heck, I am a prime example of that. Last week, I was talking to my friend and former colleague about my 2-year-old who has, quite frankly, to put it nicely, he's become the Tasmanian devil on meth. And I was like, what the heck? Everything I was doing was making it so much worse. And y'all, not to sound cocky, but you are watching my show on parenting and child development. I'm not the average parent. On the whole, I know what's up when it comes to these things, right? This is what I do for a living. I am genuinely the expert on my own kids. So I was seriously on the struggle bus because not only was I too close to it because it's not a client, it's my baby, but also it was kind of taking a kick to my ego, which just poured more emotion onto it than was already there. So I really genuinely needed someone who wasn't in it, who hadn't spent the last week wrestling him, listening to him scream, and getting into everything, to look at the bigger picture and to just kind of stick a pin in it for me. To quote one of my very favorite people, perspective is everything. Having to ask for help is humbling. I am right there with you. So what I want you to take from this information, from this study, is hope. Fixing what's broken can be as easy as changing your perspective, tweaking what is already working, and trying something new in the place of the things that aren't. It doesn't have to involve dragging your kids to specialized programs and appointments and, running through provider after provider until you find one that clicks with your child and that you like and that is effective, or even going to specialized programs yourself. We can move absolute mountains as parents with relatively little effort when we know how to use our leverage properly. And that's a great comparison. I am also a certified child passenger safety technician. I'm also known as a car seat tech, right? So every week, it's kind of like my little side thing so that I don't go crazy sitting here in my office working on my own. Every week I teach between 2 and 10 parents how to correctly use and install their car seats. And much more than once. I'd go so far as saying at least once a week. I have had a big, strong dad. I live near a military base. We are not short on hefty, buff men. So at least once a week, I have a big, strong dad who comes with his wife, and they defy me to get that car seat in tighter than he did. It must be incompatible because there is no way that you can get that car seat in any tighter than I have. And, it's still sliding all over the seat. And I always do. Pretty quickly, too. Because I know the proper technique. I know how to use my leverage correctly, where to push, where to pull, what to wiggle, even where to stand. And it's the same thing with parent education. If I can teach you where to push, where to pull back, what to focus on, then you are going to move the needle so much faster and with so much less effort. So this being validated is super exciting. And what's more exciting is that I have a way for you to do that. So if you would like to start down this path of increasing your knowledge, getting ideas on where you could possibly tweak what is working so that it works better and change what doesn't, I will be hosting my popular free class, The 8 Skills Your Child Needs to Master to be MisBehaviour-Proof, next Tuesday, April 30th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and on Wednesday, May 1st at 1 p.m. Eastern. And both of them are going to be live. This is the first time I'm doing one right after the other, both live. No recording. I'm going to break down my system of figuring out where a child is specifically struggling, where they're naturally excelling in terms of the specific mental tools that we use to govern our behavior, and then how we support them in developing those tools so that it's easier for them to use them. We're going to just reduce the friction. So this is a full-length 2-hour workshop. I run it once every 3 to 4 months, so I probably won't be running it again until the fall. So this is your last chance to participate live this school year. Now you do need to register for it. It's not going to be broadcast like this, like the MudRoom. We do this in like a digital classroom, but it is free. So all you need to do to snag your spot is to, here, I've got it right here. There we go. Okay, so it should be right here. So you just have to type prnt.link/register into your browser. I will pop it in the comments here too, and after this is done, it will go up in the description. There you go. So all you have to do once you get to that page is pop in your email address, and the system will send you a unique link to join us. So you can join us from a computer, which I do recommend. It's the best streaming experience, but you can join us on a mobile device like an iPhone, iPad, Android phone. There's nothing to download. It just works right in your browser. So hopefully I will see you there next week. There won't be a MudRoom next week because we'll be doing this workshop instead. But thank you so much for being here with me tonight. And I will see you in 2 weeks for another Uncommon Sense parenting class. All right? Have a great evening, everybody.